And I welcome continued dialogue with you and members of your group about what we are doing to address those issues in the district. Thank you. Next, we have a group of 3 who have signed up to talk to us. Let's see, what did I do with the numbered list? Okay, got it. So that I don't call you in the wrong order. First, Josie Valdez.
And I am here representing a group of minority leaders from our various diverse communities. We are here to discuss a concern about the recent reorganization in the administrative structure of the school board. We feel there has been flagrant disregard and non-compliance with Utah state law, and we're very concerned about it. Recent actions of the superintendent violate Utah code and your own Salt Lake City handbook procedures as follows. Number 1, the board is required by state law to approve all employment contracts, salaries, benefits, and dismissals. Number 2, the board is required by their own handbook in section B1 to review and approve recommended contracts and salary schedules for principals, teachers, and other district employees. B2 of the same handbook states the board may not approve any resolution, contract, or appointment at a closed meeting. We feel the superintendent has overstepped his authority in this reorganization by flagrantly disregarding Utah state laws, and we feel that you as a board have failed in your duties by not following the rules prescribed in your own handbook. Members of the Salt Lake City School Board are elected to represent your constituents. We, therefore, your constituents, demand the board follow state laws and follow your own policies as written in your own handbook. And we ask the following. First, neutralize or nullify the reorganization actions until state law is followed. And second, we demand that the board adhere to the policies stated in your own handbook, which grants you the power to approve all appointments. We're very concerned and want to make sure that as our representatives, the board and the superintendent is following state law and is also following the procedures which you have set forth in your own policies. Thank you. Thank
you. Next, Stanley Ellington, please. Thanks.
Continuation of what's being addressed before me, which is the district leadership reorganization proposal. And we are in opposition to this particular proposal, and we're asking that it be canceled, as it was declared. To reposition the equity office or department in the organizational structure to a lower or less than position we're asking that it not be done because it's going to reduce the importance on this particular important program. In turn, the relocation of the Education Equity and Advocacy Department to have it be at a lesser prominent position in this structure will reduce the scope of duties and responsibilities for the program. Moreover, to reduce the scope of duties and responsibilities will stifle the progress, activities, and events for the Student Achievement Program, and that this will interfere with the preparation of students for future opportunities. In essence, to allow the repositioning of this equity department to a level that's below the Chief of School Improvement will be perceived as a systematic act of dismantling the equity department. In closing, the district leadership reorganization proposal is detrimental to the Education Equal Opportunity or the Equity Opportunity Office or Department, the pertinent duties and responsibilities of the department leader, and the all-encompassing student advocacy program. It is asked that the school district board keep the Education Equity Department at its present organizational level with the approved duties and responsibilities, or move the department to a higher level of oversight, control, and advocacy. It is also asked that the board employ an individual with exponential skills in which can align curriculum, instruction, and assessment for student access and support of which enhances individual student learning for higher outcomes and prepares all students to flourish in a global society. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Wong. And then finally, Paula Smith.
Thank you for this opportunity. My name is Dr. Paula Smith. I am a professor in educational leadership and policy at the University of Utah. We need administrators who have the skill sets needed to effectively address the needs of all of our students to ensure that they are afforded the opportunity and access to educational equity. This need is even more pressing given that the Salt Lake City School District is now a majority minority district. That is, a district with about 57% of its student population identifying as persons of color. We need administrators who will look at the data on gifted and talented enrollment. Notice that kids of color are participating at a rate that ranges from 5% to a high of 39%, even though they represent the majority of the kids in the district. We need administrators who notice that the 2014 graduation rate for kids of color is from a low of 30% to a high of 66%, which is disgusting, with the notable exception of the Pacific Islander youth. We need administrators who will push to have the data broken down by race, ethnicity, and other important categories so that we can see how equity is faring in the district, even when the numbers are small. We need a fully functional and fully funded equity department. Spreading equity throughout the organization, as the proposed organizational chart does, only serves to dilute it. It becomes one of many job responsibilities that is assigned to someone rather than one person's central focus. We also need an equity department that has the authority to ensure that inequities can be effectively managed as part of the responsibility of each and every principal in the district. To ensure we have administrators like this in place, we ask two things. First, we ask that the board mandate that all hiring committees have representation from the committees that they serve. We believe that this will ensure diverse hiring committees that will help the district reflect a staff and administration that is reflective of the demographic makeup of the communities that Salt Lake District serves. Second, we ask that the board eliminate superintendent appointments to district level positions and allow a fair and open competition for these positions, as recommended from the February 2015 Human Resources Audit. There are administrators of color who have the education, the credentials, the experience, and they deserve to be considered. The current appointment system is a form of apartheid where advancement does not seem possible despite their qualifications. Thank you.
Thank you to all the speakers. I appreciate the messages and their respectful delivery. And it would be very helpful to me if the comments could come to us in writing so that we would have an opportunity to read them. Just hearing them causes me to say that some of the conclusions are not accurate from my perspective, but I would really appreciate the opportunity to read the comments and then sit down and talk through them with you. We will discuss this question of the reorganization of the district at our next meeting when the superintendent, who is out of the country right now, is going to be present. So we would invite you all to come back, and if you can't, to please call, and we'd love to have more dialogue on this issue with you.
Heather, can I pass
Yes,
out a couple
Michael.
letters that I wrote on this issue so they could be part of the record of this meeting?
You can, so
Okay.
yes, go ahead.
And then, and I'd like to say too that I endorse, what I heard tonight, and I, appreciate the community being here. And frankly, I'm just embarrassed that, we've allowed things to unravel, to this point. And I hope that, that as a board, we can take control of the district and get back on track. And one of my concerns is that, that you and I sit on an equity, leadership team, and that involved community members, employees, and I felt we were going in the right direction, and then that just seemed to have been hijacked by the superintendent. And any concept of shared governance is out the door, and as was stated, I agree that I believe it's an illegal act that he's done, and I hope that we can, rectify this as a board.
Can I just let you know?
Any other comments?
No, I'd like to make a comment because I totally agree. I mean, I have asked that this be put on the agenda. I do want to make sure everybody understands that being on the agenda for the next meeting means we cannot vote on it, which is why I wanted it on this agenda. But I just want you to all understand that as a teacher, as a retired teacher, I think this is a systemic problem within our district in terms of not addressing our minority issues. Because I have been fighting this forever. Thank you.
Thanks, Rosemary. Any other thoughts on this particular issue? Okay, so we welcome everybody to come back on the 17th of October,
Yes.
when we will have this, November, sorry, when we'll have this next discussion about it, and welcome your thoughts. Thank you very much for being here. We'll proceed then with our agenda, which goes to reports, starting with highlights.